What's up, y'all? I'm Frank. Welcome back to the channel. I hope everybody is having an amazing day. It's early Thursday morning. I hope the start of everybody's day is perfect. So, I figured I've been leaving y'all hanging with part 4 of the story. When I was in prison and I ran into somebody that I had previously robbed. I'll finish this story up, right? I'll give you a quick rundown for anybody that's seeing this. Anybody that's seeing this for the first time, right? I'll give you a quick rundown, and then I'll get to the story. All right, so around 2008, 2009 is when my addiction was at its absolute worst. I went from sniffing to shooting. I was living in Philly at the time. I was heavily involved in the streets, selling drugs. Like I said, my addiction just grew out of control at this time. So to support my habit, I started robbing people, robbing other drug dealers. I said, I was like, man, it takes longer to sell drugs and make money than it does to take people's money that already made it selling drugs. I figured they're less likely to call the cops, right? I figured that at the very least, all I had to do was worry about things in a street manner. And at that point in my life, I was all right with that. Now that I think about it, absolutely, I knew I was playing with fire and, it was a little out of control. But, anybody that's been in the streets, anybody that's been in addiction, we know where our mind goes, right? Where the drugs takes us, where the addiction takes us, where our mental health and our state of mind takes us. And that's where I was at, right? To me, I was living each day by each day. I was living, probably 12 hours at a time. And it's crazy, but that's what we do. I'm not the only one that has a story like this. I can promise you that. So, like I said, I was very involved in the streets, both on selling drugs and using drugs. So anybody that I felt had slighted me in the least, I was a very resentful person, very resentful. You can cross me and I'll be like, all right, I'm going to remember that, So, and anybody that knows, that's been involved in the streets, knows about drugs and drug selling. It's a whole bunch of waiting. You hear somebody tell you, I'll be right there in 10 minutes. We know that actually means I'll see you in 20 minutes. People tell you, I'm right around the corner. They're 10 minutes away. That's just the way drug dealing is. It's a whole bunch of waiting. And, that's what it was. So for me, towards the end of, towards the end of me starting to move to robbing to support my addiction, I would sort of keep mental notes, right? If somebody would make me wait too long, if somebody I felt did me wrong, crossed me, disrespected me, anything like that, I would sort of keep a mental note and be like, okay, if there comes a time where I'm looking for somebody to rob, you just put yourself on that list. And that's what I started doing. So this gentleman we had previously done business with numerous times, I ended up sort of putting him on that mental list of someone to rob. He made me wait too long. One time, I think it was, I'm not 100% sure, to be honest with you, but I think it was to give me money back for something. He made me wait a little bit longer than I felt comfortable with. Which, mind you, if I didn't have an addiction, it would have been nothing. It would have been nothing. It would have just been one of those things. All right, I'll see you when I see you. Just get me whenever you get me. It would have been one of those things, right? So I ended up going to GRATERFORD, and I wasn't there on a PV. I was only there because my PO picked me up. My daughter's mom had called my PO and basically tried to get me locked up. And I had an addiction. So he asked me, he said, look, my PO asked me, he said, are you going to go in withdrawal? I said, yes, I am. And then he explained to me, he said, look, if you weren't going to go into withdrawal, I could take you straight to a halfway house. Being that you're going to go into withdrawal, I have to take you to a detox. He said, I'm going to try my hardest to find you a detox. If I can't find you a detox, I'm going to have to take you to GRATERFORD and let you detox in jail. So I'm sitting in the PO's office for about 3 hours in the bullpen there. I didn't start feeling like shit yet, but mentally I was like, oh my God, I'm going to have to detox in jail. Anybody that knows, that's our worst fucking fear of an addict, is to detox cold turkey in jail. That's exactly what ended up happening. He took me to GRATERFORD, dropped me off, and told me, I was there without no PV. I didn't have no violations or nothing. He didn't violate me for having a dirty piss test, nothing. He just told me, look, you're only here. I'll come back and pick you up before 30 days are out. He said we can hold you for 30 days without you having any type of PV or anything. He said, I promise you I'll pick you up. And my PO was always a straight shooter with me. What he told me he would do, he did. So I figured, all right, I just got to go in here, muscle this shit out. This detox, cold turkey, which is horrible, absolutely horrible. And my mind was playing tricks on me heavily. I was like, everything from can I escape the jail to suicide, everything. That's just the way it is. When you got a detox in a cell, that is the worst thing in the world. So I get booked into the jail. They give you this little flea bath, and the water's freezing. I got to take that flea bath and scrub up. And I'm starting to little by little not get sick, but I wasn't high anymore. There's a little transition or a time in between feeling high and getting sick. It just doesn't happen like that. There's a little transition period in there where you start to get a little uncomfortable, but you're not feeling sick. It's all like mental stuff, right? So then now I head to the cell block. I go to the cell block. As soon as I walk in the cell block, I was on E block. That in GRATERFORD, that is the block that holds everybody that's there for PVs and stuff like that. I go in that block, start walking with my box and my sheets and stuff. And who do I see? I see the gentleman that I robbed. He sees me. I'm not even going to get into it about the other stuff because this video is already getting a little long. But you could go back and check part 3, part 2, and you'll be able to see it. Long story short, though, dude ended up coming to my cell. Him and 2 other guys. I cut one of them. One of them cut me. So now this is the beginning of part 4, is the end part, right? So we end up having that altercation in the cell, and I go to, we end up having that altercation in the cell, right? Now it's about 3 weeks later. I'm starting to feel a little better. But the one thing bad about detoxing cold turkey, you get insomnia. You don't sleep for weeks at a time. So there was probably, a good 2-3 weeks that I didn't sleep, which affects your mental health, which affects everything. So that's basically what happened. I'm feeling like shit, but I'm also to the point where I feel as though I could defend myself. So I detoxed in the cell, and mind you, you don't eat, you don't do anything for those, about a month. You don't eat, you have no appetite, you can't sleep, you're vomiting, you're freezing, you're hot, you're sweating, everything, all your senses you're feeling at once. So physically, I'm not feeling good. I don't feel strong. I feel very weak. But I was like, now I have to, I feel good enough where I can go get some payback. And that's all I was doing, for real. I was trying to get revenge because I felt that they took advantage of me. I felt that if dude would have came by himself, then it would have been one thing, but he came with 2 other people. So I felt some type of way about that, right? As I get to this point and I start putting this plan in motion in my head, about 3 days later, one of the guys that he was very, very respected, his name is Chocolate. He was somebody that was a millionaire on the streets from getting money, but he also caught a dope habit from packaging and bagging up back in the days. So he knew what I was going through. So I think he sympathized with me a little bit. And we were also, pretty good friends, and we did a lot of business and stuff. So he told me, he said, look, only one of the guys is still here, the guy that I had originally an issue with. He said he's the only one that's still here. The two other guys, they got transferred to their prisons. They're no longer here. He said, if you want to, take out your issue with dude, I'll make sure that it's just y'all two. So I said, okay, bet. So every time we go out to yard, I'm looking for the guy. I don't see him. Comes to turn out he's a block worker. So block workers, they don't usually get to go to yard like that because they're staying in and doing jobs, passing out laundry, cleaning the showers, all that stuff while everybody else is at yard usually. So that's why I didn't see him. So now everywhere I go, I'm strapped up, ready to go. GRATERFORD also has metal detectors when you leave the block, so you got to be very careful. I had my razors. I had some long john pants, and I had my razors. I made like a little pouch all the way at the bottom of my long johns, and that's where I would keep my razors. They wouldn't go off in the metal detectors unless they took the wand and put the wand on it. But they didn't really do that. The ones you walk through, you could walk through them with having two razors. You could get through them. So I remember one day I go to medical. I'm on my way back from medical. And who do I see? I see the individual. He's walking one way, I'm walking the other way, and I don't think he notices me. He's walking with two other guys. They're just caught up in conversation. So I see him. As soon as we pass each other, I double back, get in his line. I see he's going to the gym. So I follow him. I'm just watching to see if he notices that I'm behind them, and he doesn't. So to get into the gym, there's a little corridor, which is like a funnel. Anybody that's been to prison knows those are the places where if something happens, 9 times out of 10, it's going to happen in that space. That's exactly what happened. As soon as we got in that corridor, I went on him. Started throwing punches, and I got the jump on him. I went to back up so I could try, because as I was hitting him, I was trying to put my hand in my long johns to get my razors, and I couldn't. So I backed up off him for a second, and as I backed up, the gym staff, they must have heard the commotion and came out and was looking to see if anything was going on. They didn't pick up on it, you know what I mean? There wasn't no blood or anything. So they probably thought people was, horse playing or something like that, right? So I go back, I leave. I go back, he goes in the gym, I go back to my cell block. They come to lock down for, the 4 o'clock count. They come by the cells, do their count. Then I hear keys. I look out. Rodriguez, cuff up. Somebody told on me. So I go to the hole. Now I go to the hole. I'm in the hole for about 2 weeks. I get transferred to my new prison. When I get transferred to my prison, I'm there for 6 days, and then I get released to the streets. Because remember, I didn't have no violation or nothing. I get to the streets, chalk it up, never seen dude again. The last time I seen him was last year. I'm doing haircuts on Kensington and Allegheny. Guess who I see? I see the same individual that I went through it with, right? The same individual that came with 2 other people to my cell to cause me harm. They came to stab me up. And did. Thank God they didn't kill me. Thank God I didn't kill one of them. But they came and they succeeded in doing what they wanted to do, right? Now, when I see him, he's strung out. He's getting high. He's deep in an addiction. I mean, extremely deep. He's horrible. He looks like shit. Or to the point where I almost didn't even recognize him. That's how bad he looked. He looked horrible, right? So as I'm there, I'm with another one of my homies that knows him as well, right? So I ask him, I say, yo, is that such and such? He's like, oh shit, that is him, right? So I don't think nothing of it, right? I asked dude, I said, you want some food? We're doing haircuts. And I said, come on, sit down. Let me give you a haircut. He sits down in my chair. Now, listen, part of me was thinking, I got him. He fucked up. He's in a fucked up position. I'm going to make him pay. I'm going to get him to sit down in his barber chair, and I'm going to go on him. That's not what I did. I seen him. He sat in a chair. I felt for him. I knew what he was going through. I've been there myself. And I told him, I said, yo, you remember me? And he looks at me. He's like, yeah, I remember you. Almost like sad, embarrassed. And I said, look, you ain't got to worry about nothing. And I talked to him. I treat him as if we never had a past. I prayed with him. And I told him, I said, look, that's not what I'm into anymore. And I felt for him. I felt extremely bad for him. He was fucked up. He was in a horrible, horrible place. He was dirty. He needed a haircut. He needed food. He was fucked up. It was a blessing for me to be able to provide grace to somebody who I know needed it the most. Somebody that literally, there would have been a chance that caught in the right position that I would have killed him or he would have killed me. And I was able to provide him grace and do it wholeheartedly, right? Do it not because I didn't want to get caught. Do it wholeheartedly because I didn't want to keep on repeating that cycle and pressing replay on that type of shit. And I still see him now. Speak with him every time I see him. Buy him something to eat. But it's beautiful to provide grace to others. All right, so I thank y'all. If y'all like these type of videos, I got a whole bunch of stories because, I was involved in a whole bunch of bullshit for years and years and years and years. So if y'all like these stories, let me know. I'll bring y'all some more. I thank you guys. Remember to stay patient, kind, and loving because at some point in our life, somebody was patient, kind, and loving with us. Have a great day, y'all.